I've been a real estate broker for over 15 years, and I've got to the point where I can walk into a home and within a minute, I can tell whether or not this home is going to be a good buy or not, and whether or not I would actually even entertain an offer. Now, please don't confuse this. Every home is a good buy. It just all depends on price. But I'm going to go through 7 things that you really need to look out for as a buyer, and don't get stuck because you're getting frustrated. You don't think you're going to get an offer accepted. You love the kitchen. You love the park down the street. These are 7 things, actionable things that you should have as a checklist in your head before you make an offer and close on a home. Okay, so the first one is buying a home on a busy street. And I hammer this home on a lot of videos. And here's what happens. Let's say we're in a market like 2020, 2021, and you're just a frustrated buyer. You've put in 15 offers. Every home's getting 10 offers and you're just frustrated. And finally you get this home and you get an offer accepted, but it's on a really busy corner street and you're happy, has a nice kitchen. Everything seems to check out. You know when that home takes the biggest hit? In a market like we're in now, where it's really leveled off and the buyer coming in to see your home, they have 3 or 4 other options. And why would I buy a street even though you might have a nice kitchen? Even though you might have a nice yard, why would I buy a house that I hear cars streaming by my home every 3 seconds when I can go in and I have 4 other options on homes inside that same community that might not have the nicest kitchen, but I can upgrade it, might not have as big of a backyard, but it's still workable. And in my opinion, one of the biggest downfalls in regards to trying to resell your home on the market when you have a market like we are in right now is being on a busy street. So that's number 1. I would just stay away from those if possible. Okay, so next up, you see this house. It's a 12,000 square foot lot. You're like, oh, it's amazing. You know, we have dogs, we have kids, and you get to the house and 50% of it is on a slope and it's unusable. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad buy, but make sure you walk your brain through, did I really want a 12,000 square foot lot? Does a 6,000 square foot lot also work for us? And number 2, don't be paying prices and comparing that home to usable lots that are 12,000 square feet. There's a huge difference. So just be careful with the lot size versus what is usable on that lot. This comes up a lot in places like wine country or Duluth or rural areas where, they say the lot size, it's 3 acres or 4 acres, but literally an acre and a half is, and you just really have to watch that because you do not want to overpay for a property that really doesn't have the advantage of a larger lot for the future or the future sale of your home when it really isn't going to be an advantage for any other buyer because you can't use the lot. By the way, people, every 2 weeks, I take like 2,000 homes in the Temecula Valley, and I have set up a platform and a program that pretty much pulls out the best deals of these 5 or 6 cities. So if you want to look and be involved in being able to see the best deals in the Temecula Valley every couple weeks, go in the description. It's the first link. Just click on it and you can go check it out. I think it's really helpful. And honestly, there are some really good deals and it takes into consideration a lot of things that you as the buyer would be concerned or, trying to find a deal. This is exactly how I built it. Okay, so next is insurance. And talked about this a lot. Guys, buy a home that you can get insurance on and that's not over the top expensive. There's 2 parts to this. Number 1, of course, when you resell it, if insurance prices keep going up, it's going to be a huge red flag for buyers coming in. But also, and I've talked about this previously too, we don't know what's going to happen in 10 or 15 years. In some areas in Southern California, I can pretty much guarantee that the home is going to be uninsurable. And can you imagine trying to sell that $1 million home and all of a sudden the buyer comes in, they love the home. Oh, we can't get insurance. How is that going to feel? Next point on insurance, just make sure that either A, you verify your quote before you go to escrow on if you get it accepted, before you even go to escrow or within the first couple days that you're in escrow. Make sure you know that insurance quote and a premium, whatever you're going to be paying monthly on that home. Next up, the mystery edition, and just seeing so many homes over the years, I can sort of see the quirkiness in the layout sometimes. It happens a lot in the garage where they just build another bedroom. That's probably not a good thing. But also just on the older homes, you're going from the kitchen into the living room and there's a step down. And you just want to make sure as a buyer that all of this is permitted. Don't just rely on the seller saying, oh, well, the previous owner did this. You really have to pull permits on this and make sure that the square footage adds up to what the MLS is saying. So, the MLS is saying 1,700 square feet or 2,000 square feet. The house looks a little quirky. Well, only 1,000 square feet of that is permitted. And then the problem is the appraiser comes out, and if it's not permitted, or if it's not in public records, or if it's too quirky for the type of loan that you have, the appraiser is going to call it out and you're going to have issues. So just be very careful with permits, additions, room additions, and a lot of times you can tell when this happens. Number 5, understand solar. Get the contract. You need to read that contract. There are a lot of bad solar loans out there. There are a lot of people that have got scammed with solar and they don't even know it. I don't know. I'm not a solar salesman, but look, for example, what's the percentage rate increase per year on your solar? Okay, one of the great tricks that I use all the time now is get the solar contract, upload it to AI and say, what are the biggest concerns that you have with this solar contract for me moving forward? And it will sum up whether it's a 10-page document, a 50-page document, it will sum up that document and give you really actionable things that you should be, as a buyer, concerned about. And of course, you want to know, is it a lease? Is it paid off? Is it a PPA? What are the terms? All of this stuff can actually make a house really difficult to resell if you don't do your homework on it. Okay, so next up, and I just finished a video on this, but there are homes in Temecula and Murrieta that you are going to pay not only the 1% or 1.1% tax just for Riverside County, but you also have special assessments in Melrose, and those could be up to $4,000. You do the math, and that's, let's call it an extra $250 a month. My previous video that I did, why this is so important, is an extra $250 a month came up to, I think it was an extra $40,000 worth of buying power if you had a home with lower taxes. And I promise you, I look at this as a real estate agent, and one of the first things I tell my buyer when they send me a home they want to see, hey, Susie, just FYI, it's an extra $5,000 in taxes you're going to have to pay on this home. Do you really want to see it? And I would say 8 times out of 10, the buyer doesn't want to look at that home anymore. So this is a huge red flag detriment. I might piss off people with high special assessments in Melrose, but it is not something that is advantageous for you as a buyer moving forward and growing your equity and trying to maybe resell in the future. Okay, thank you very much, guys. If you are a buyer, promise you, give me a call. I can pull the best communities in the Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee, Wildomar, Winchester areas that don't have high taxes. We can figure out which homes have paid off solar. We can figure out which homes actually have usable land. I can tell you which are busy streets that I wouldn't live on. All of these things that we talked about in this video, I can narrow down homes for you so you don't make that mistake, and we can work together, get you a good deal on a home, and then also keep you from, making a simple mistake that's going to cost you thousands of dollars in the future. Thank you very much. Talk to you later.